This is how we say welcome to each and every one of you to the 4th Ghana CEO Summit. This year, we're deliberating on the futuristic economy, technology-driven future of business and governance for economic transformation. I trust that this will go a long way to affect what we do in our country to ensure economic growth and transformation as we solve the many problems that plague us, notable amongst them being NDC, MPP, and Shatawali. That was just to make sure that you are awake. But now, ladies and gentlemen, this morning's plenary promises to be very insightful. We shall have 2 keynote addresses, a panel discussion bordering around the theme, and the high point of this morning being the ultimate keynote to be delivered by the gift of the occasion, the Vice President of the Republic, which will immediately be followed by a high-level conversation with him and our moderator. We crown the morning with the CEO's Excellence Awards, instituted last year to recognize, celebrate, and profile the achievements of businesses and their leaders. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in line with our theme, we have taken interaction this year to another level amongst ourselves, where Slido has come to our rescue, a world-class interactive platform that affords you the opportunity to air your views, your questions and suggestions on the various discussion items ongoing. This morning, we're joined by our partners and our sponsors who have made this year's conference a possibility. We shall be formally acknowledging them in due course. Allow me now to spell a few house rules as pertains this year's summit. As always, I plead with all of us to keep our phones on silent to avoid any interference in the course of this event. If you wish to use the restrooms in case you're new here, you make your way out. Our ushers will gladly escort you to the utility area at the back. Gentlemen, you are to the left because the ladies are always right. This morning, ladies and gentlemen, all is set for us to delve into the futuristic economy, technology-driven future of business and governance for economic growth. It's my pleasure now to showcase to you a video from our technology partners, SAP Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, our first keynote speaker, the Director, General Business and Partner Ecosystems, SAP Africa, Madame Catherine Tindale.
Is this working? Wonderful. Morning, everybody. Customers are impacted by external market forces in all areas: society, technology, the economy, and our environment. And this disruption is not only happening in larger markets, but also in smaller industries in far reaches of the world. For more than a quarter of a century, the world's greatest brands have trusted SAP to run their businesses. For more than 2 generations, we are proud that the best-run businesses run SAP. As a result, we believe our responsibility to help our customers innovate in times of transformational change, leveraging intelligent, integrated end-to-end processes to outperform their competitors. This is the intelligent enterprise. The global information technology industry is on pace to reach $5 trillion this year. Businesses are becoming more connected and increasingly automated, and many of you sitting here today are the reason for this current wave of innovation, driving your organization, your peers, your leaders, and your customers to think differently about how you do business. As a result, digital transformation will unlock $100 trillion of value for industry and society by 2025. We see companies looking to drive new capabilities and experience with the intelligent business processes because the future belongs to companies that want to lead the industry by delivering transformative experiences, product and brand experiences that generate loyalty, customer experiences that create evangelists, and employee experiences that build an army of force multipliers at the front lines. Every industry is changing as disruptors exploit experience gaps. Uber, Amazon, Netflix, just to name a few. As recently as last year, SAP acquired a company called Qualtrics. Qualtrics collects X data, experience data, via intelligent interactions. This includes surveys, social media, website feedback, voice chatbots, and even offline feedback. Bain suggests that 80% of consumers have chosen to switch brands because of poor customer experiences. The ability to know your customer and listen to your customer isn't customer relationship management anymore. It's taking operational and experiential data and creating seamless end-to-end journeys designed around the customer and across all channels. There's plenty of software that can tell you what your customers are doing. Only SAP can tell you why. This intersection of experience data, customer experience, employee experience, and brand experience, and operational data, OData, means that for the first time ever, companies have the ability to understand which business capabilities are driving the right outcomes for their customers, their employees, and their shareholders. Experience management is a top priority for most CEOs that we talk with today. We know from surveys that customers spend approximately 3 times more if they have a great customer experience. IDC recently released a report where they discovered that 80% of CEOs today believe that they are delivering an exceptional customer experience. Only 8% of their customers agree. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the experience gap, and it's estimated to be a $1.6 trillion problem. The Intelligent Enterprise Framework. The Intelligent Enterprise Framework is about delivering outcomes for our customers and driving experiences for our customers' customers. SAP's Intelligent Enterprise Framework connects end-to-end processes, reimagined for the cloud, with embedded intelligence. The components are pre-integrated and modular, allowing you to focus on what you need to do to focus your outcomes on your customers. SAP's vision of the best-run companies center on the intelligent enterprise. At SAP, we are committed to helping our customers become intelligent enterprises that can draw meaningful insights from their data, do more with less, and empower employees to process automation. And more importantly, intelligent enterprises that deliver best-in-class customer experiences by proactively responding to customer expectations. They invent new business models and revenue streams. So what does it mean to be an intelligent enterprise? What does an intelligent enterprise actually do? They take the work out of work, they provide outstanding customer experiences, and they create new business and operating models. We know if you can automate tasks and transactions, or any artificial intelligence, you can create big cost efficiencies and improve quality. Automation can improve this manual work to a high degree of precision and also speed. So that's faster, better, and cheaper processes, and that means that businesses will also run faster, run leaner, all the while better serving your customers. Planning and forecasting are great areas where automation lowers cost and effort and improves quality. An example of this would be Microsoft, moving all machine learning for financial and revenue forecasting. Another example would be Verizon. They have promised or just made a $40 billion investment in 5G. They've promised the streets an additional $10 billion in cash savings. Through this process, they are shedding 9% of their workforce. They are becoming an intelligent enterprise because their transformation is based on taking the work out of work. Understanding how technology can create transformational experiences across all channels is mission critical. Companies like Amazon, Apple, Netflix have long used technologies like voice, AI, machine learning to create advantages in speed, service, and quality that drive great experiences. Now, a range of companies, from automotive to utilities, education to financial services, are looking to embed these technologies into their sales, supply chain, and customer operations processes to drive greater customer intimacy and differentiate their brand value. Under Armour, the company you've just seen in the video, improved their customer experience and sales by implementing feedback from over 10,000 product testers who felt their shoes were too clunky. Another example would be Coca-Cola, who in a declining carbonated drink market, decided to focus their attention on their employee experiences. Together with the employee experiences and re-engaging, they managed to improve their productivity and improve their revenue to the highest levels to date. Sound like you like this idea? Transforming any part of a business in any industry. That was with the sounding like you like the idea slide. Transforming any part of the business in any industry starts with ideas to expand existing product and services lines or enter new categories, conquer new markets with current products, or deliver new value. This can happen organically or through strategic M&A, but often goes along with a renewed view of who the ultimate customer is and what kind of value they really need. This often results in the need to adopt or integrate new business and operating models. This is true even at SAP, with our single business model of 10 years ago having expanded now into 6 different business models. SAP is working with a number of customers to drive profitable growth through our new models. For example, pay-for-outcome, PFO, business models provide an excellent opportunity for manufacturing companies to differentiate and drive profitable growth in a competitive market. New business and operating models enable you to compete on value instead of price, accelerate sales of new technologies and products, acquire new customers in competitive markets, and shift to a more sustainable revenue stream. We trust you'll enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you so much for your time.
We're grateful to you, Catherine Tindale, Director General Business and Partner Ecosystem, SAP Africa. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 2 messages from our platinum sponsors, Imperial Homes and Societe Generale.
Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy with my team, with Societe Generale Ghana team here to share with you some big convictions we have in Africa and in Ghana. This presentation will be short, and the first part is just to give you an overview of what is SG as a group, and what is SG in Africa, and specifically in Ghana. First overview of Societe Generale, which is a French brand, but worldwide, universal, and multinational bank. 31 million clients worldwide, and 147,000 members of staff all over the world. Societe Generale has in 2017 had done 23 or 24 billion euros net banking income and a little bit less than 3 billion euros net income. SG is in 67 countries in the world, and 60% of the staff is outside France. In Africa, we are a multinational bank with a large setup, and we can say without doubt that we are a Pan-African bank. 19 countries, and with a little bit more than 1,000 branches. We are 11,500 staff in Africa, and we have a little bit less than 4 million clients, with 1.3 billion euros net banking income within these different subsidiaries. And we are accompanying 150,000 corporates. We have leading positions in many countries. We are a strong bank in Ghana. Even our target is to be more than a strong bank in Ghana. We are number one in Guinea, the first private bank in Algeria, the first bank in Cameroon, and the number 4 private capital bank and number 1 privately owned banking group in Morocco, present for more than 100 years. And the number 1 also in Ivory Coast and the number 1 in the UEMOA zone. What are our commitments? One of the leading European and Pan-African banks. Société Générale is leader in export finance in Africa in 2018. Our commitment is for the SMEs, for all the continent, to finance more than 4 billion euros in the forthcoming years. From 6 billion, which is the actual outstanding, to 10 billion euros. And we are one of the leading banks also in structured finance in Africa, with 1.5 billion raised in 2018 in sub-Saharan African countries. We are fundamentally committed on social responsibility and fighting climate change. SG is strengthening its commitments against the climate change. The commitment is to raise 100 billion euros on the energy transition from 2016 to 2020. Among this 100 billion, 15 billion to renewable energy sector, in which the bank is one of the world's leaders, and green bonds emission for 15 billion euros. On environmental and social sector and oil and gas policy, the target and the commitment on these 4 years is to do zero financing of the Arctic oil, zero financing of coal, and zero financing of oil sands. And we are reinforcing the SG standards regarding the respect of the indigenous population rights in all the places where we are. On the internal level, we are committed to reduce by 25% CO emissions per employee by 2020. And we are driving force in sustainable and low carbon development of Africa. You will see on the right that SG leads or joined the best practices worldwide initiatives. UNEP 5 principles for responsible banking partners of the Climate Bonds Initiative, principles for positive impact finance in 2017, positive impact manifesto banking environment initiative, soft commodities compact in 2015. In 2014, it was the green bond principles, principles for responsible investment, carbon disclosure product, Transparency International. I will not detail all those, but you see that from 1999 to 2018, we are committed in all the big worldwide initiatives linked to the responsibility and fighting climate change. In Ghana, we have 38 branches and soon it will be 40. 200,000 clients in Ghana and 900 employees. As you see, we are present in all the regions of the country. The network is strong and we still develop it with physical branches, but also with new digital branches. Societe Generale Ghana has financed over $1 billion on government in the 10 last years of government projects in energy, roads, highways, communication, bridges, and interchanges. And if we add also what we have done, especially, for example, with the participations in cocoa board financing, we have exceeded $2 billion in the 10 last years. Our head office is partially running with solar panels, 267 kilowatt hybrid photovoltaic solar plant at our head office, which is one of our also internal commitment fighting against the climate change. I will finish by just few of our innovations. As you see, we have developed digital corners. The digital corners is to allow our customers to do the most important operations and transactions through a digital way. We have launched the initiative of the SG Home of Business for SMEs. As I said, that we are committed at the group, at the African level, to raise $4 billion on the 4 coming years till 2022. And in Ghana specifically, we have built this initiative, the SG Home of Business, physically, and there is also a virtual platform for that. And this Home of Business is entirely dedicated on a new way to handle the relationship with our clients, but also all the SMEs in Ghana who needs advice in all or many subjects like innovation or HR or financing or accounting or everything. We are one of the leading banks in factoring and leasing solutions in Ghana. And we have developed the mobile branch, with an ATM inside and with our institutional clients, and also to get to the client instead of waiting the client to come to SG. The AQ application is one of the recent innovations we have done also to allow our clients to check where are our network and to avoid to do the queue to reserve by advance or to book in his branch, on which he knows that he will spend the less time possible. And finally, the new alternative banking solution with the e-wallet solution, YOP, which is actually under a pilot phases, and we are convinced that this solution will allow Societe Generale to go more deeper in the inclusive financing in Ghana, and to go also through many areas in which it's difficult to get there with the classical banking solutions we have already. If I have to finish on that, is to say that our conviction is that the future is being built in Africa. We are convinced that in Africa, even the advanced economies in the world will in the future learn from the African capabilities to innovate and to find a new way to do banking and financing. And they will import the knowledge from here tomorrow to do the future banking in the world. So we are here to be and to build this future with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. From building team spirit together, today they say the future is you, ladies and gentlemen, Societe Generale, our platinum sponsors, and many thanks to you, the managing director, Mr. Hakeem Huzani. But right here, the future is technology driven, and it's for business and governance all to ensure economic growth, and that's why we gather here once in a year to make sure that we advance the course of all these themes that we'll deliberate on for 4 consecutive years, culminating in the 4th Ghana CEO Summit, happening right here at the Kempinski Gold Coast City Hotel. We're live on Joy 99.7, on Star FM, and on countless online platforms, notable among them being Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow us with the hashtag Ghana CEO Summit 2019 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for this year's summit, we have assembled some of the brightest and the best in their fields of endeavor to speak to this theme that we're reflecting on, and they shall do so in various insightful keynote addresses and spirited panel discussions. Just gone by was a keynote address delivered by our technology partner, SAP Africa. We shall be having more of them in the course of this summit. But today we're joined by the Bank of Ghana, given the numerous transformations that are going on in the financial landscape in Ghana and all around the world. It's my pleasure to welcome to deliver the second keynote for this summit, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Jedu Addison. The governor is allergic to bad clapping, so please, you want to do it better.
Thank you very much, MC. CEOs present, I noticed that everybody here is a chief, so chiefs. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me thank the organizers of this Ghana CEO Summit for creating such a unique platform where over 400 CEOs gather at one place to discuss issues of relevance to their businesses and the economy in general. This week at the Bank of Ghana, we will be having 3-day monetary policy committee meetings where we discuss and review developments in the global economy as well as at home, focusing on real sector developments, monetary and financial developments, and the fiscal developments. And on the basis of that, we will take a decision on where to place the policy rate. For this reason, this morning, I would stay away from the issues of monetary policy, in particular, interest rates, exchange rates, etc., but rather focus on the financial sector and trying to recollect some of the processes and the reforms that we have implemented over the last 2 years to address the serious lapses in governance and weaknesses in some of our banks, the systemic nature of some of the infractions which had put several depositors' funds at risk and weakened public trust in the industry. Remember, we took the challenge, daunting as it was, to clean the sector and safeguard the solvency and stability of the banking system, as well as the financial system as a whole due to the interconnectedness of the banks with the other specialized deposit institutions. Permit me to enumerate some of the reforms that have been implemented to safeguard the stability of the financial sector, to ensure its safety and soundness, aligning the macro and the micro prudential risks to bank capital, and addressing cross-sectoral and cross-border risks to the industry. In order to address the overall risks of the industry and properly risk profile individual banks, we revised the risk-based provision framework to take account of current developments in the global banking environment. As part of efforts to reduce the level of impaired assets, we required all banks to clean up their books, remove the structural challenges that undermine the effective credit delivery process. We also enforced the directive for banks to write off their loans and required the appropriate disclosures of written off facilities in published financial statements of banks. We also reviewed the governing legislations on the credit reference system to require banks to submit both positive and adverse information on borrowers to the bureaus through a portal that had just been developed. The bank also worked on the collateral registry system to address outstanding issues with foreclosure. We were supportive of the government efforts to enhance clarity in the land acquisition process, which transmits into the collateral perfection processes of banks. We also introduced the Ghana reference rate, which, in addition to the National Identification Program, should help with the measures aimed at reducing the incidence of loan defaults. In our resolve to fight financial crime, we invested and strengthened our AML CFT regime by increasing the scope of AML risk-based supervision and collaborated with the Financial Intelligence Center, the EOCO, and other enforcement agencies to enforce the AML CFT regulations. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, cyber criminals have managed to bypass security controls and to exploit breaches of vulnerabilities within the cyber and information security defenses of financial systems. In this regard, we issued a directive on cyber and information security to the banking industry. We also issued the final directive for the capital requirements, which addresses Pillar 1 of the Basel II, Basel III capital regime, and Pillar 2 of the Basel Accord to strengthen the supervisory review process. This involved the internal capital adequacy assessment process, which allows banks to undertake an assessment of the capital commensurate with all their risk exposures. The process of fully operationalizing the Banks and Specialized Deposit Institutions Act, this is Act 930, was also reviewed with existing directives and regulations which were reviewed to align them with the Act. In line with this, we issued the fit and proper directives, the financial holding companies, and the mergers and acquisitions directives. The central bank also directed the adoption of the accounting standard on financial instruments. This is the IFRS 9, which requires banks to implement the expected credit loss model for the banking industry. Though it was expected that the implementation of the model would increase credit impairment in the banks, our assessment of the impact revealed that the increase in loan loss impairments were largely contained within the regulatory credit risk reserves. We are also focusing on enhancing customer confidence in the financial system, and the bank will be implementing the Deposit Protection Scheme, which is in line with the Ghana Deposit Protection Act 2016 as amended, to provide a safety net for vulnerable depositors in the event of a bank failure. But we do have some challenges, including some of the risks going forward, especially with our recent closure of banks and the receivership process. Let me appraise you on some of the issues that we are currently dealing with in the cleanup of the banking sector. and the progress that we have made by the receivers in recovery of loans. Out of a total loan of about 10.1 billion taken over by the receivers, only 731 million has been recovered through loan repayment by customers or through placement, sale of vehicles, liquidation of bonds, and from other income sources. I'm also reliably informed that receivers have fully engaged the judicial system to assist in the recovery of certain assets from shareholders, directors, and other loan defaulters. And there are about 50 cases currently pending before our courts. Despite these initial steps, the recovery process has not been without challenges, with individuals involved resorting to the court system to frustrate the process by engaging in frivolous actions. Some of the difficulties also have to do with low or poor documentation, which has made it difficult for receivers to identify and pursue some of the loan defaulters due to insufficient or non-existent information. Investigations so far have also revealed that some of the assets were not registered in the names of the specific financial institutions, but in the names of related or connected parties, making it difficult to dispose of the underlying collateral to offset the outstanding loans. Indeed, some loans were even fictitiously created, and the directors are being pursued to recover such monies. A key risk factor going forward has to do with the high level of NPLs, which is of serious concern and needed to be tackled with some urgency. As regulators, we have closely monitored the developments in these NPLs, and I must say that in spite of the improvements made through the enforcement of our loan write-off policy, the NPL ratio remains high at 18.7% as of the end of March 2019. This level, by all measures, is not acceptable. More work needs to be done in this area. The high NPL situation has implications for the effectiveness of monetary policy conduct as it acts to impede the transmission of the mechanism, the monetary transmission mechanism. As you're aware, we have been trying to lower the policy rates, but we are not seeing the transmission of the lower policy rates in the lending rate to banks, primarily because of the high non-performing loans in the system. Here, I must say that the role of the judiciary cannot be ignored. By bringing efficient adjudication of commercial cases, we would be able to address some of the core structural issues concerning this NPL. Indeed, I would recommend the possibility of designating special courts and judges to adjudicate matters relating to the specific issues arising out of the bank resolutions and revocation of licenses, as well as cases in relation to collateral foreclosure. Without an efficient judiciary system that is fair to deal with cases in a swift and decisive manner, all the work done in sanitizing the banking system will not yield the desired results. It is my expectation that as we move on, the narrative should shift towards ensuring that the judiciary stands up to the task to support the entire process. Before I conclude, CEOs and chiefs, permit me to also commend the organizers of this CEO Summit for a well-timed theme: the futuristic economy, technology-driven future of business, and governance for economic transformation. The Bank of Ghana recognizes that technology remains a key driver of financial development in Africa, and that is why we are collaborating with the telecommunications and financial technology companies, the fintechs, to enhance the efficiency of the payment system ecosystem and deepen financial inclusion. The successful implementation of the mobile money interoperability project last year underscores our quest to leverage on the increasing digital revolution in the financial sector to broaden access to financial services for inclusive growth. The recently enacted Payment System and Services Act provides opportunities for innovations that will make our payment system more efficient and in tune with the rapidly changing needs of doing business, contribute better to improved access to financial services. This new legislation also presents great investment opportunities, particularly in the fintech space. The Bank of Ghana will continue to remain vigilant to all forms of risk and vulnerabilities and will take appropriate actions to mitigate them to ensure that as a country we continue to enjoy macroeconomic and financial stability. I thank you for your attention.
The Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Kwamina Yedu Addison, we are ever so grateful to you for that warm and insightful keynote address. And now, ladies and gentlemen, two messages from our platinum sponsors, ADB and Eris Properties. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a presentation from Eris Properties. Please welcome the CEO, Mr. Enoch Ensua Mensah.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Last year, we were here and we did make a presentation to this House concerning our developments which were ongoing. And this year we have come again. Would want to report to the House, the entire CEO family. At Eris, we believe that potential lies in what you envision, not what you see. This building is what we envisioned a couple of years ago. This was our dream. And this was what we sought to do. And last year, when we were talking about these two developments, we were very confident with ourselves because we knew the partners that we were working with. And so, for once, we were counting down on the completion time. And most of us here will testify to the fact that we were able to go on our countdown timelines. This was the stage last year in May, and we were 102 days away from completion. And this is what we came out with. What we envisioned is what we achieved at that time. These are all facilities that we have terraces within, and everybody shouldn't marvel. This is in Accra. 335 development is along the N1 highway, very close to Talo, in an area where some people will call it North Jowlu, others will call it South Legon. And that is where we have 335 Place development. We have adequate parking facilities in these two buildings, 335 Place and S2 Towers. And it will interest you to know that in 335 Place development, we have 348 parking bays, one of the largest developments with that number of parking bays. At S2 Tower, we have 404 parking bays. Parking to our clients and our tenants is very key. And so once you take up a space in any of our developments, you are certain that parking would not be a challenge for you. This is the reception to the 335 Place. We have 4 elevators that serves the tenants in the building, because your comfort is our utmost satisfaction. S2 Tower is a development at the intersection of the Hilaliman High Street and the Castle Road. And I'm sure by now a lot of you have seen this particular edifice. It's one edifice which is unique in Accra, has 2 sides of facade facing 2 highways. It is a development which has, like I said, 404 parking bays. It has a restaurant for your comfort. It has a forex bureau, it has a pharmacy, it has a gym, also for your comfort. This terrace that we created within this particular development, during the opening of the building, we're able to host 400 people on that terrace for the reception. The reception alone, we could house 400. If you are a tenant in this building, no matter the number of people you would want to house for your function, I am certain that this terrace will serve you better. You don't need to go out to look for any space. You can comfortably have your function on this terrace. Now back to what Aries we do. This is what we at Aries seek to do. We believe that our offering is a one-stop shop. And as developers or as development managers, we believe that we are able to provide you that service from helping you define your brief in terms of whatever you are looking for to do. We believe that we are able to constitute a very competent professional team for you to execute. We believe that we are able to assist you with funding with our development partners, the Momentum African Real Estate Fund, to be able to provide funding for you to do your development. We are able to help you appoint a very competent contractor to be able to execute that particular development. And above all, we are able to supervise that you are able to get exactly what you had sought to do. Most businesses here have always thought that they are able to do this particular development themselves. Some would go as far as creating units just because they are developing a new corporate HQ. At Aries, what we say is that you don't need to go through all that stress. We believe that we are able to, most importantly, underwrite the cost of your development. In this country where every project that we do, at the end of it, we are told that the cost has increased. If the cost has not increased, the funds are exhausted and the project have not been completed. If the project are even being completed, the project are being delayed, and so you cannot even plan with that. And above all, executives like yourself will come in during the stage of development, and then somebody would say, I think that this wall will have to be moved here. I think that we need to add this to it, without thinking about its cost implication on the development. And that is the role that we think that we are able to provide you, and we are able to help you develop whatever you would want to do. we have flexible options for our developments. So for the 335 place development that we saw, it was a complete joint venture development that we did. Our partner provided the land, and then we went ahead to provide all the others. At the SU Tower development that you saw, that is a development that we call a long lease development, where our partner gave us the land, and it says, build, operate, and transfer. So we believe that as corporate entities here, what you need to do is to give us your specifications. We will do the design for you, we will do the costing for you, and then we'll be able to get you the necessary professionals that you would require. We are also able to offer you funding. Our equity and our long-standing relationships with debt funding banks are able to help you execute your projects very well. We believe that for those of you who have your land, just show us your land, tell us what you want to get. You don't need to use the capital that you have for your operations to build your corporate head offices. We believe that there are agencies and there are developers who are competent and capable to provide you your office. For those also who don't have land, but want to brand their offices to look at as their own, there are partners and there are a lot of people here who have and are willing to provide land to us, and we have land at very strategic places that you could identify. Just tell us the location. We would build for you, you would sit in that building, we will brand it as a building that is for you, and for as long as you would want, you can occupy that particular building. We build, and you can decide that you don't, not that you can't have the money or you don't have the money, but at the moment you don't have, so you would decide that you will buy out the building later. What Aries does is that we provide or we develop properties, investment properties, and we offload these properties with the intention that with our REIT system, which is going to be developed or which is going to start, other investors are able to invest in these very good properties. We believe that if we underwrite the cost of the property for you, any investor would give you money to do that particular development. We believe that for our tenants, they have certainty and they have a financially stable landlord. Above all, we don't provide you with a white box. We don't provide you with a gray box. At Aries, we provide you with a white box. The gray box is where the developers will just build. They will do all the outside and they will leave the inside. You come, you take the space, and then you fit the inside out yourselves. What we provide is that we give you a tenant installation allowance. And what that covers is that you have a ceiling, you have a blind, you have your partitions, you have your flooring, all provided for you. Ladies and gentlemen, our exposure and our experience over the years is able to help us guide you and guide you very well in the kind of development that you do. There are corporate institutions here who have developed their HQs, and just on moving in, the next day you see them breaking grounds and adding on to this development. It's because they could not think through the entire development brief. Our exposure and our experience, we are able to guide you through that phase, and you would have a building that you would like. In conclusion, we believe that you can own a building, you can own your corporate HQ without any initial capital expenditure. We believe that you can also provide your land and we could partner you in the kind of development that you could do. We also believe that we could build, operate, and transfer based on the parcel of land that you have. We believe that you can also own, even if you don't have the land. And above all, we could provide professional services to you such that you could have a very beautiful offices that you could call your own. We currently have a few spaces within the 335 and SU Tower building. These two buildings are almost 80% let, and we think that we have a few spaces left for you. For those who are keen, you could just see our decks there or our booths outside, and they could help you with it. We also offer facility management services.
Unfortunately, I can't offer you any more time.
We offer leasing services. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Enoch Nsuamensa, CEO, Aries Properties Limited, and please do well to visit their stand and acquaint yourself with all the solutions they have readily available. This morning, we're live on Joy 99.7 on Star FM and numerous other affiliates, as well as online through our various social media handles on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn. You can reach us at GHCU Summit 2019. Please get interactive with us. We'd like to know your thoughts on what is currently transpiring, the futuristic economy, technology-driven future of business and governance for economic growth. In a short while, we'll receive the gift of the occasion, the Vice President of the Republic. He'll be joining us together with his official party. As a precursor to his keynote address, we shall have a very spirited panel discussion on technology, and ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to miss that on anything. On the back of the powerful keynote presentations that have come, I believe it will lend enough fodder for the discussions that will take place. Let me once again alert you on the platform that's been provided to engage interactivity. It is slido.com. If we have a video of how it works, let's show it before the Vice President arrives. And so this morning, we delve straight into the heart of the matter, the technology panel. It's my pleasure to invite, to moderate the panel, the CEO of Blue Space, Mr. Samuel Amano, together with all his panelists, Mr. Moses Baden, Madame Estelle Akofio-Sowa, Mr. Selo Madadevo, Mr. Amar S. Deep, Mr. Hussein Fakri, Mr. Yemi Saka, Eric Osiakwa, Herman Chinri Hesse. Ladies and gentlemen, they are yours for the applause.
Everybody. Good morning. It looks like you've had a lot of slides and you're wondering, is this going to be another slide pitch? But no, it's going to be very interactive. And my name is Samuel Amano from Blue Space Africa. We're fintech helping banks, insurance companies, and ministries of finance improve how they transact and operate in their businesses. I'm very honored to have the esteemed panelists. This is quite a heavyweight panel, and it's going to be very interactive. We have an hour, so we're not going to be boring you. And the audience have basically an opportunity to ask questions. We're using the Slido app, so if you could check the Slido portal, it's on the web browser, slido.com, sli.do. You could basically ask your questions through that, and I'll see it on my tablet. Without further ado, I'd like my panelists to introduce themselves and what they do, how they are independent companies are shaping the tech ecosystem. As you know, the industry has improved in Ghana and around Africa. There's a lot of innovation happening here that the Western countries are also copying. In the past, we copy from them, but now it looks like innovation is happening within the continent. and a lot of innovation will be coming through from some of our speakers. You hear their experiences and what they're doing within their companies to shape the economy of Africa, especially in Ghana. So please. Mr. Yemi Saka from Deloitte.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the introduction, and good morning. As introduced, my name is Yemi Saka. I'm with Deloitte. So I'm a partner at Deloitte, responsible for our consulting business across West Africa. And I think you said a very interesting thing is, if you look historically, innovation is always sort of copied sort of from the West. And then now we're seeing that we are also driving innovation now, which is a very, it's a very critical point. And I'm sure myself and the panelists will also kind of talk through that as well. But if I could speak very quickly from a Deloitte perspective, we are very focused on what we call Industry 4.0, which is how do we take advantage of sort of the new technology trends, how our exponential technology is helping us shape how we deal with our customers and how we interact even on a personal basis as well. So looking forward to the engagement and looking forward to the conversation.
Hello, good morning. My name is Hussein Fakri. I'm an architect and the MD of Key Architectural Group. I'm here today on this panel to...
And now, Mr. Moderator, with your permission, I ask that we pause as we rise and receive the gift of the occasion, the Vice President of the Republic, His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia. We welcome you with exceeding joy, the Vice President of the Republic and your team. You may please be seated. And now, Mr. Moderator, over to you.
Welcome, Vice President, Your Excellency. So just to recap briefly, we're discussing the impact of technology on the future of the economy in Africa, specifically in Ghana. Ghana, by the way, is the center of the universe, for those of you that are not aware. So what we do here impacts the world. And we're just going through introductions at the moment.
So good morning again. My name is Hussein Fakri. I'm an architect and the MD of Key Architecture Group. I'm on this panel actually this morning to give another perspective to the technology discussions and the subject of this meeting, to give a highlight on the personal touch and on the creativity in this fast-growing economy and what it can implies on the business environment and the economy in general.
Hi, and good morning. My name is Estelle Akofioso. I'm the West Africa manager for C², which is a company that was born out of Google, a technology company, born out of Google to address the infrastructure gap that we see across most of Africa. And basically, instead of each mobile operator or ISP building its own infrastructure, which is very CapEx intensive, you can have a wholesale operator, which is what C² is, that makes the investment and enables mobile operators and ISPs to deliver broadband to their end users.
Thank you, Estelle. And then we have Selam from MTN.
Good morning, His Excellency, the Vice President. So my name is Selam Adadivo, CEO of MTN. And just very brief introduction. I mean, I think at MTN, we believe that everyone deserves the benefits of a modern connected life. And based on that goal, our primary objective is to bring connectivity and to lead the way in terms of connectivity for all Ghanaians, starting from access in terms of smartphone connectivity, all the way through to the backbone and bringing services to your doorstep. So we'll talk more about what we're doing and how we can enable the economy. But we believe technology is a primary driver of growth in this economy, and we're in the right place and the right position to be able to enable that. So looking forward to the discussion.
His Excellency, the Vice President, and my fellow CEOs, IPMC is proudly made in Ghana household name. We are one of the largest system integrators who are looking after the enterprise for their data centers, for their end user computing and managed services. We are also a software developer, which we started 27 years ago, and today we make some of the leading ERP systems and other customized software for your businesses. As you are aware that IPMC has been creating a very large IT skill set for many years, and this is what we still continue to do. Today, it is our responsibility to ensure that all of you businesses are ready with the future technology trends such as big data, AI, BI, analytics, and other future trends which may be coming. This is our responsibility here, and this is what we continue to fulfill. Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have Mr. Eric from Chanzo Capital.
Thank you, Your Excellency, and all the chiefs in the rooms acknowledged. So I'm from Chanzo Capital. We're an early stage growth and venture fund. We believe that the future is going to be dominated by African entrepreneurs, but we need to nurture these entrepreneurs now. And so at Chanzo Capital, we provide three things. We provide capital, capacity, and community to entrepreneurs across what we call the King's countries, which is Kenya, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa. We have offices in 3 countries, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, and we are a Mauritius vehicle. We provide capacity mainly through our efforts in mentoring and providing support services to entrepreneurs. Through our King's Fund, we provide capital, and through that we've invested now in 16 entrepreneurs across 6 countries. And then our community development program is called Angel Fair Africa, where every year we select between 10 to 20 entrepreneurs, and we invite about 50 to 60 investors, and we go to a city on the continent. Last year we did it in Mozambique. So far we've realized $23 million worth of investments from these events, some of which are old investments. This year we're doing a special edition in Ghana as part of the Year of Return. And we're going to bring entrepreneurs and investors from around the world to Ghana, which is the center of the earth, to experience investing and doing deals. Thank you.
Excellent. And then for those of you who don't know, we also have a Bill Gates in our country.
Yeah,
Our chairman from Soft Tribe.
Yes, my name is Herman Chinmehesi. I'm chairman of Soft Tribe, an older software company. And we like to think we are the most innovative, and this should be an exciting forum. Thank you. My friend, the Vice President. Hello.
Thank you, Herman. And last but not the least, Mr. Beatty from...
I'd like to welcome the Vice President to this event. It's one of the events that I look forward to when all chiefs come together. I'd like to welcome all the chief executives of Ghana. I think together we can power ourselves into the future. I am the executive chairman of the Margins Group. At the Margins Group, for 30 years, we've been focused on identification. We believe that in the future, electronic identity connected to data and technology platforms will leapfrog African countries into a new future that is devoid of the old issues that we had with progress. As you know, the Margins Group has, the biggest privately held manufacturing facility for all kinds of secure documents. We manufacture the Ghana card right here in Ghana. We've been doing that since 2007. And this latest edition of the Ghana card is a bridge to the future and formalizing of the economy, social inclusion, financial inclusion. It's going to give people the ability to go online and be identified and have services delivered in real time online. It will also connect people to the digital addresses so that no matter where they are, what time, no matter what the time is, 24/7, citizens can be empowered to exchange and receive data and receive parcels and so on in real time. The Ghana card is a project that we're very proud of. Most of you don't know that the card has 3 profiles. It's got an e-passport that is going to be giving free to 16.2 million people in Ghana. Now, that value of that passport, if you take an e-passport to be $100 worldwide as an average, is the equivalent of $1.62 billion even before the project was started. And doing the Ghana card, we're issuing these cards not only in buildings, we're also issuing them in bushes, in hamlets. We're writing 445 books of data, including a match on card biometric profile and an EID profile. We believe this is the missing link to include everybody in our economy, in our society, and in our political frame, in order that people may be empowered. In this data-driven world, the missing connection is electronic identity in the middle of data and technology platforms that can change the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Moses. This is really good. We have just about 30 minutes, so limit your commentaries to just about a minute or two. And then if you have questions, please check out the Slido code on the screen, GCS2019. I'm going to get up. I feel a bit restricted. But real quick, as you guys know, no change happens without people, process, and technology. Would you agree?
Yep.
Exactly. So in Ghana, I mean, we're very smart people. We have great universities. You're all schooled here. People are basically the backbone of any country, right? Just last week, IFC reported that there's about $4 billion worth of digital skills opportunity for Ghana. For Africa, they stated that the opportunity is about 130 billion. Now, for Ghana to tap into this, you know, if you're in the industry of banking, in the industry of manufacturing, if you're in the industry of real estate, you need digital skills. We can help if you're in agriculture. Cosmos Innovation Center is here building startups who are helping to develop these talent. Now, we have some banking representatives, we have some, you know, industry representatives here. I'll pass the question on to my dear friend from MTN. You're one of the largest tech companies providing connectivity and data services. How are we developing people to tap into these digital skills?
Thank you. Thank you. So thanks for giving me the first question as well, Samuel. So there are a number of things. First of all, MTN, as you probably know, has been in the technology space for over 20 years now. And the rate at which technology changes fundamentally is extremely fast, probably arguably the fastest changing industry in the world today. And as a result, to even be able to be a sustained company over the 22 years, we've had to put in place just a fundamental fabric to enable change management. So starting from different technologies coming in and how we support the changes within MTN itself, but then secondly, which is the most challenging element of change is actually what we do with our customers and how we enable adoption. So in terms of thinking of people, I want to go from just our internal people to also our customers, who are quite important when we think about transformation, we think about change management, and we think about technology adoption. Just to mention some of the things we've done, education is fundamentally the first step. But education will typically happen when the technology is in place. And preparing the mindset before technology comes is the second thing we look out for. And making sure at any point in time, we're dynamically trying to get people to appreciate what's coming next. Today, we've gone from different technologies, 20 years ago, starting at 2G, talking of 4G plus today. And the implications of some of these technologies for our users and for our staff are significant, right? What this is really doing is it's saying, we believe that everyone should have a connected lifestyle. And to have a connected lifestyle means that your demand and usage of data will grow significantly. A lot of devices, today people have 4 or 5 devices per person, plus connected devices at home, and that's where we're going. For people to naturally understand how to make that shift from being a non-data user into a very heavy data user, you have to go through an education, and you have to understand the benefits of that education or these new technologies to you specifically. So relevance is one of the things we do in terms of how we educate and bring people along. How can we enable people to understand the relevance of the technology to themselves and to their daily lifestyle, and how does it bring value to them, and how does it bring value to their business? And I think once the relevance kicks in, the education starts to make a lot more sense. It's a lot easier to bring people along the journey, especially as we move into the higher technologies like 5G and IoT and things like that.
So technology is moving faster than the way we're basically educating the staff and the people. I think the speed of the technological changes and the speed of how we're building new giants in the digital space has to sort of match up, because if we don't, literally we'll be at 5G and then our high school students and university graduates and our staff that we hired about 5 years ago may be left behind, right? So I'll put the next question to Mr. Amar for IPMC. You've been around for 27 years, quite a long time to be in Ghana. I could have said I'm 27, but I don't pass for that. How are you seeing the change in terms of the maturity of talent in the Ghanaian ecosystem? Because I hear that a lot. We bring a lot of foreign workers to take technology jobs in the build up of the economy. You have a university here, and you're also doing system integration. How are you dealing with the talent adoption and talent grooming, if I may ask?
I think, Sam, before we understand how we have to groom the talent, it is important to understand what do we groom the talent in? What are we looking at? What are the key issues we have today? I think the biggest one we all hear about is big data. Many of us, the big data is so big that we fail to understand what is actually big data. And it may be surprising for us if I tell you that big data is nothing but my personal data. When we collect and deep dive into the personal data of each individual about his demographics, about his income levels, about the places he works and he lives, about his behavior patterns, about his likes and dislikes. And if we multiply this data with millions of people, that becomes the big data. And this is how the businesses are going to be driven in the very next few years, through the big data. If we notice as we are driving past the roads every morning and evening, we will see many of the billboards have started disappearing. Is it the number of businesses which are reducing in this country? What is happening to them? We notice that most of the media houses, whether it is television, whether it is radio, whether it is newspaper, all of them are trying to create online presence. There is a convergence which is happening. This is the convergence which we need to be looking at. Today, it is not important if we are present on the net, if we have a presence over there. But what is important is how to make use of all the consumers who are present on the net. And this is where the big data is going to drive the future business.
So
if we have to
data
prepare
here
the
is
talent,
the new oil, right?
Yeah.
Data is the new oil, and so if we don't build these youth around this AI, which reminds me, Google recently just decided to put their AI research lab in Ghana, which is going to really change the way we adopt technology in this space. Just last week as well, Microsoft announced a $100 million digital development center, both in Lagos and in Kenya. Ghana will be next, hopefully, on the list. And Margins Group is doing something quite, transformational for the country, from what I understand, in terms of the Ghana card. Now, identity, data, telecoms, design thinking, they're all connected. How are you operationalizing the whole infrastructure side of this technological adoption that you're bringing into a culture which we're not used to that? I mean, first we had to do the digital addressing system. There was a big fuss about it. Now it's picked up. Now the Ghana card, you talked about e-passports. How is all this going to converge to impact businesses that are trying to thrive in Ghana here?
Well, as you said, the future is data-driven. In a country of 30 million people, if we don't know exactly what the segmentation of our demographics is, if we don't know where people live, if we don't know the details of what the education level is, if we don't have the profiles that allows them to connect safely to digital platforms on the internet, if they cannot identify themselves across multiple complex digital infrastructure, if they cannot sign documents electronically with smart contracts, if they cannot encrypt their data with end user PKI so that they can only be read by the person who's intended to read it, if we don't have security around our digital assets so that they cannot be broken into and stolen, then we're not ready for the future. The Ghana card gives us a platform where we can collect identity data, which is owned by the state and managed by the state, so the state can better plan with some degree of accuracy for different segments of the economy. If you take, for instance, school feed and you take free SHS, how are we going to budget for feeding children when we don't know how many they are, what their ages are, and where they go to school? You know, how are we going to be able to make free SHS effective and efficient when we don't have accurate numbers as where people are living digitally, whether it's under a tree or in a building, and how we can plan to use infrastructure more efficiently and optimize the return on this infrastructure. We can only do that with data, and data starts with personal data. The state has to understand which people is in charge for and what money it is used to invest so that the future will be brighter. And when you talk about education, it's the same. You have to be able to deliver education, not just formally in classrooms, but you must also even be able to deliver it online. If people can go and learn online, they can pass exams, and you know they are who they claim they are on their PCs, then it means that basically you can use the best teachers, not the worst ones, to teach millions of people, and we can actually mark exams digitally so that people can improve on their own. I mean, the effect is tremendous. This is the background, the foundation that we need to leap into the future.
It's quite interesting. Working in the financial services industry, from a blue space perspective, identity is everything for us, right? So in the banking sector, it's KYC, KYC, KYC. Now, the interesting thing is, within a country, your citizens are literally your gold, right? It's like your wealth, your treasure. So citizen KYC is basically what your technology is helping to solve for the country. This brings me a very good point to Mr. SoftTribe Chairman Herman. You've worked both in the private sector in the States, you've worked in the public sector. How is the convergence between the mindset of private sector operations and public sector operations and how they converge to bring the change in the adoption of technology? Because you're doing some really good stuff within the public sector from what I understand. How is that convergence happening, and what are some of the challenges you're running into in the convergence?
I think fundamentally there's a bit of an issue. All these things we're describing, Google is doing this in Ghana, Microsoft is doing this in Ghana. The future is platforms. The future is AI. We have to be very careful not to get recolonized. Because the data you're talking about, the big data you're talking about, if it does not live in platforms that belong to Ghana or Ghanaians, then how does it benefit us? What are we selling? It is especially important because there's going to be, I predict, massive unemployment going forward. With the advent of AI, I think our politicians need to work closely or closer to with us in the industry. There's a lot of stuff going to happen. I mean, there's a greenhouse in Marseille, a single greenhouse, which employs maybe 50 people. It produces 30% of all the tomatoes in France, eaten every day. My friend in Ghana is putting one together now. I don't think many people are aware of it. It's going to produce daily more tomatoes than West Africa consumes. We have to export some to Europe. We are sitting here, we're talking about jobs, we haven't tweaked our educational systems. I bet the Ministry of Agriculture is not aware, Ministry of Education is not aware, Ministry of Employment is not aware. Very soon, it's going to be impossible for anybody holding a cutlass to compete with tomato production in this kind of arena. We have to be very, very serious, or we'll have social strife. Our youth population is the fastest growing in the world. We need a situation where national planning includes AI. I hear the Education Ministry buying books, as Moses said. We can do distance learning. The best teachers can be made to beam into the classrooms in the villages so that everybody has an equal share. Yet I hear, oh, schools under trees, we're building brick and mortar schools. This doesn't need to be the case. We have expertise in Ghana that can advise and that can work with public policy makers to guide, to make sure that these things happen. Now, I think that, some of these things, people say, oh, no, not in Africa, not in Africa. I argue the opposite. We have nothing. We will be the quickest adopters. If you look at the mobile phone revolution, it went fastest in Africa. When you have nothing...
I still want to bring you back to my question.
Go ahead.
The mindset of the private sector, where you worked in the States, and then the mindset of the public sector and how the convergence is happening for the adoption of the technology.
It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. That is not where the problem is. That's not where we need to watch. We need to watch the unemployment. We need to watch the AI. We need to watch what's going to happen.
But AI is a technology, right? If you look at the fourth industrial revolution, we're far behind in the adoption of the hurdles, right?
Are you sure?
Yes.
I do work every day.
If we look for data scientists in Ghana, right?
Yes.
We have Ghana Innovation Hub where we're training a lot of startups, right? But to find talent in data science, it's a very big problem. With Moses' project, for example, he will have to deal with a lot of data scientists to predict things.
I'm telling you today that in my experience, we do lots of projects where when we look at the unemployment we're going to cause, we have to eliminate certain elements we are implementing. There's no policy to stop that from happening. It's not 0 or 1. It's not from 0 then
the
suddenly
IFC report predicts that there will be about 230 million jobs by 2030 for digital skills, right? So the question is, what is guiding the investment of the Googles and the Microsoft of the world to put the infrastructure into this country? And I like the position, the point of view you've taken. What should the private sector do, right, to support? Because if you look at IT spending or technology spending, the public sector is about 70%.
Yes.
Right? Because we have ministries and agencies all over the place. That investment requires talent that is almost on the same level of skill set as we see in the private sector. Right? Because you can't, if the private sector is moving really fast, and the public sector is slowing the country down, how are we going to evolve? If registering your land becomes a problem, if getting collateral information becomes a problem.
These are policy issues. It's not a skills issue.
The skills issues as
well. No, I doubt it. I'm in the industry. I recruit, I'm sure I recruit more programmers than anybody. It's not true. It's a lie. If that's what the IMF said, they're lying.
We have talent in Ghana, don't get me wrong. Ghana produces great talent. We hire quite a bit of them. But what I'm saying is, I know I'm in technology, right? I used to run Dell for the country. And we know when projects are due, where resources are coming from, right? The niche skill set required, right, needs to be developed, right? I'll not dwell too much on that topic, but I'll push the question back to Estelle, who has been in Google for some time, has been at the forefront of the internet revolution through busy internet all the way now to C-squared. Why connectivity? Why connectivity?
Yeah, I thought we were about to have a Shatawale Stoneboy session here. Anyway, that's on a lighter note. So what did you ask me again? Now I've forgotten. I'm thinking about
connectivity? Why connectivity for the digital revolution?
Yeah. Well, and so as I was preparing for today's panel and online watching TED Talks, etc., I was just struck, and we spent 2 days together with the Vice President last week talking about Ghana's ICT roadmap. And so, of course, innovation is important for us to discuss. And I have absolute faith that, like you said, Samuel, Ghanaians are smart, our young people are developing incredible things, young and older people. Since I'm over the 30-40 mark, I don't like to be excluded anymore. But there's some fundamental roadblocks, or not roadblocks, sorry, but blocks that we need to build. People need to be able to connect, to be able to come online, reach the global audience and market, etc. So we have so much connectivity that lands on the coast, not just in Ghana, but across Africa. And one of the biggest challenges is how to move it. From the coast to our towers, to our homes, the estates, the businesses. And that is what is hugely lacking. Even in our main metros like Accra, Tema, Kumasi, and in other African countries, there's still need for more development. And the returns are slow. You know, you need to have investors that are willing to wait 6-10 years for the type of investment that is required on the infrastructure side. And so that was what motivated Google to start what was called Project Link, and then set up C Squared in partnership with the IFC, Mitsui, and Convergence Partners. And so it's, you know, yes, it's important for us to keep our eye on innovation, but we need to address some basics, you know. And again, in my research, if I can just share these stats with you that not shocked me, but, you know, we just need to keep it in mind in terms of the size of our market. And last week at the ICT roadmap, you know, the private sector was challenged that when we're asked to go to certain areas of Ghana, we likely don't want to go there. And it's because of the returns, and so you need the incentives to go there. So Ghana is one of 6 SSA countries with over 1 million people considered as middle class. That's having a daily income of about 45 Ghana cedis a day. And we were marveling at how MTN is able to deliver fiber at $25 roughly. And in fact, Selom said maybe he had to go back and look at his numbers because he was wondering how he was doing that as well. But it's hugely expensive to roll out the infrastructure, which is why, as I said, Google tried out C Squared. And you need partnerships. This is where the public-private partnerships are hugely important. And we're excited about what we're doing in Liberia, where USAID went through a competitive process and selected C Squared to partner with the government of Liberia. And instead of the grant funding going to the government of Liberia, and we've often seen, Vice President, sorry to say this, but the funding goes in to government and we don't see the results. So we've partnered, we've been selected as a partner, and it's a matching grant. So for every dollar the USAID puts in, C Squared matches that grant to build infrastructure in the city of Monrovia, which likely any other private company independently wouldn't have made that investment because there's just too big a risk. So it is a great example of a public-private partnership working, and we need to see more of those. The government in Ghana is doing well. Unfortunately, on the IT front, they always seem to be shrouded in controversy as well, and there's always, you know, and I think that's one of our challenges as well. Yofi will, I think, support this point. We also don't sell ourselves well enough. We don't tell the world and ourselves the good that is happening. And so you find in the IT sector, I think, again, just very shrouded with negativity and the daily frustration. I hope I've actually remembered to answer your question.
You have. You've justified the need for connectivity. We have Deloitte in the house. We have Key Architecture. We're running out of time. But what I'd like to ask before we go, right? Sure. You see trends from a consulting perspective. What are some of the things you've seen in the last 5 years from Ghana? Are we growing? Are we evolving from a digital transformation perspective?
All right, so I'm fortunate enough to run a West African business, so I tend to talk to clients from Nigeria to Ghana, etc. What I would say is it's evolving, and it's evolving across the continent. in this Industry 4.0 era that we're in, it's very clear that the rate of change and the pace seems very exponential. Hence why at Deloitte we like to talk about exponential technologies, things like AI, which we kind of talked about. Now, this whole notion around skills, if I don't mind, I just want to touch on that. It's going to be ever evolving. What we're seeing, though, is that the more the private sector and the public sector adopt these exponential technologies that are required in order for us to stay ahead, the need for constantly upskilling ourselves and upskilling our people remains very paramount. So a lot more can go into upskilling. But in terms of the trends, I do see that there is a great adoption of digital across the continent. From a West African perspective, even in our personal lives, our kids are adopting technology at a pace that even some adults are not even adopting or accepting that technology will disrupt the way things are. So I always like to say, it's either you're disrupting or you're accepting the disruption, or you stand the chance of being disrupted.
And lastly, they say collaborate or die, or innovate or die. You're collaborating with the private sector. You're helping with building beautiful structures from a key perspective, key architecture group, which is the name of your company. How is technology impacting all of that?
Okay, I think every technology needs an envelope to live in or to get developed in. And this is where architecture comes in and construction comes in. Today, if you see since 10 years till today, Ghana, I mean, if you look at the big companies, the big multinationals, none of them is staying now in a small office or in a headquarters that is hidden. So, because there's a need to brand and there is need for more exposure to match the growth in the technological happenings that are going on. So, and I see also architecture and art in general as a bridge between the technology and also the psychology of the recipients, who are the clients, the staff, and everything. Because also technology sometimes needs to be softened.
It sort of changes your mood, right? You walk into a building that has all the aesthetics. Immediately, your creativity is inspired. You begin to think straight, and things sort of begin to work well for you. I think that's the point I'm trying to get.
That's the idea, So I think while all of us are investing and planning for ICT and for communication and for modern management skills, it's very important that we also build on the human touch in every business, and and arts comes at the top of that. I mean, and it makes it personalize every business, and it gives it a character and differentiate it from one business to the other. And I hope that what we are doing in Ghana and in Africa will be also localized and have that touch that will make it more attractive and more. And this can be done through art, through architecture, through.
I personally love architecture, and you've done some really amazing stuff. The Iris at airport. My MC has signaled me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I hope we've been insightful on this panel, and I hope you've learned something. If nothing at all, AI, if nothing at all, train your staff. There's digital skills gap. The country's evolving, and place your stake really now. There's opportunity coming, and invest in technology, invest in digital skills. Thank you. Thank you, panel.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Technology and Innovation Panel, Mr. Samuel Amano, together with Herman Chinrihesi, Eric Osiakwan, Yemi Saka, Hussein Fakri, Amar S. Deep, Seloma Dadevo, Esther Lakofio-Sowa, and Moses Baden. Together, I believe they're deserving of another round of applause. It's the 4th Ghana CEO Summit, and ladies and gentlemen, we're exploring the future or the futuristic economy, technology-driven future of business and governance. This morning, let's welcome formally in our midst the Vice President of the Republic, His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia. Thank you for joining us. In his company is the Minister of Business Development, the Honorable Dr. Ibrahim Mohammed Awal. Thank you, sir, for joining us.